Okay, you know what? This is super weird because even when I have somebody to shoot episodes of, even when I have somebody to record episodes of this podcast with in person, I never know how to start it. But now that I'm here doing an episode by myself, I've got nothing. I've got nothing for you. So this is going to be an adventure. Welcome to Drink to Play. I'm... who am I? Who is she? It's Emily. Oh my god, what a shit show. Believe it or not, I'm not even drunk. It's like 3 p.m. I'm recording an episode before going out to a party tonight. But, in the meantime, I'm having my favorite cup of tea around this time of year, like the holidays. You know, the holidays. What is it? This is Trader Joe's Vanilla and Cinnamon Black Tea. It's so good. And I'm probably on my 3rd box this season. And I hate myself for saying that, but I drink it a lot. I leave a box in my office, 1 in my apartment, and I bought like 4 more when I saw it the other day because I'm a monster. I am a straight up monster. I just wanted to record this episode to let you guys know that there will be more episodes coming in the new year. Apparently, it's a lot to ask other people to play an entire Nancy Drew game if they've never played it before, and then to get drunk with you and talk about the game. That's unfortunate. It just takes time to produce. In the meantime, I've got something I wanted to share with you anyway. I was thinking about which games I wanted to cover in the coming year on the podcast first, and I was thinking about my favorite Nancy Drew games. So I made a list of my top 5 Nancy Drew games. Obviously, you might have a different opinion, especially if you're a different person than me. You may also have a different opinion if you've never played the games before, which is like the other 2 people listening to this podcast that are my friends. Here we go. I like these 5 games the best, but I kind of ranked them a little more. So number 5 is Sea of Darkness. This is like the most recent game that came out. I think it came out summer of 2015 or something like that. It takes place in Iceland. It's super cool. The writing is hysterical. Katie Karanis is a treasure to this world, but I follow her on Twitter. She's super cool. Love her. Katie, if you're listening, please come on the show. I love the atmosphere of the game. It's super cold in Iceland, which was nice to play during the summer. I haven't replayed it since, and I'm a little hesitant to do it now because it was 0 degrees out the other day. So maybe not 0. It was probably like 5 degrees, 4 degrees. Yeah, not cool. Upstate New York, am I right? So the next game, number 4 on my countdown, I would say is The Haunted Carousel. I played this for the first time in like 8th grade, and that's wild to me because I'm 24 now. And it's something I finished in one sitting. I love the atmosphere. It's like creepy in a carnival kind of way. I love the history behind the carousel and the horses and the backstory there. I really liked getting involved in the history behind it and reading about Kessler, the dude who carved all the carousels, and the organ, I guess, inside the carousel was very cool because I'm a music person, a bit of a nerd like that. Number 3, Danger on Deception Island. I know, it seems weird because it is the game that came out right after The Haunted Carousel. It's set in the Pacific Northwest, somewhere in Washington, on a boat, and there are whales, and there are people who wear these great cable knit sweaters. And actually, now that I think about it, there are a lot of parallels between Danger on Deception Island and Sea of Darkness that I think I want to explore in a future episode. So stay tuned for that. Danger on Deception Island is super cute. I love the tunnels. I love Whale World. I replay that game often. The most fun part, I think, is making sandwiches, because I don't know, that sounds so stupid, and I'm sure people who don't know the games would have a field day from a feminist lens perspective with like, oh, my favorite part's making the sandwiches. So forget I even said anything about that. Cool. Danger on Deception Dissection. Ooh, what section is she in? Danger on Deception Island is just a lot of fun. Okay, number 2 on the countdown. Don't judge me for this. Stay tuned for Danger. It was the first Nancy Drew game I've ever played. I feel like this came out in 1999. That's a lot. I played it when I was in 3rd grade, I want to say, in like 2001, 2002, something like that. Yeah, this Nancy Drew game thing, they've been around for a while. I played them for a while. They're okay. They're fine. Stay tuned for Danger is just so ridiculous. The game takes place on a daytime soap opera, and you have the ridiculous character Rick Arlen, who I just kind of swooned over as a 3rd grader, I guess, when I played this game for the first time. But in recent years, when I've replayed it, you realize how much of a creep he is. And like, I know it's totally on purpose, but it's a time, for sure. It's ridiculous also, because if you look around in that New York City apartment, there are photos that are horrifying because it's the animated character's head on top of a real person's body, and they just look so awful. And I've never related to something more. So if you have the opportunity, play that game if it works on your computer, if you can still buy it. Oh yeah, you can buy it now. Her Interactive took it out of their store for a long time and just gave up on letting people buy it because it was so old and it didn't really work on computers. But now they're like, hey, if you want, you can have it. Digital copy only, though. So yeah, try it. I think it's hysterical, and that's why it's number 2 on the list. And number 1 is, surprise, surprise, it's Curse of Blackmore Manor. The atmosphere is so good and so creepy. It's set in England, and it's spooky, and this mansion, and I'm doing an awful job describing it. We covered it in episode 1 of the podcast. If you want, you can tune in if you're interested. The one thing I didn't like about Curse of Blackmore Manor was Ethel, because she is terrifying. She just pops up out of nowhere and kind of ruins your life. The fun things I liked in that game included like the little ghost hunt thing and the creepy cutscenes with like the oil and the plants. The plants are one of the best parts. Yeah. So, those are my top 5 games. Sea of Darkness, Haunted Carousel, Danger on Deception Island, Stay Tuned for Danger, and Curse of Blackmore Manor. So if any of you are looking to go back and replay some Nancy Drew games or play some for the first time, I would recommend one of those 5. Absolutely. And I feel like you can't talk about the best without acknowledging some of the worst. I don't have a specific order for these. Well, I kind of do. Not really a specific order. And I don't have a set number of them. I could only come up with 4. I tried to make it 5, but then I just was looking through the list trying to find one that I didn't like too much, and I didn't think that was like fair to make it like the worst if I just didn't like it. So here are, in my opinion, the worst Nancy Drew games of all time in like the 20-something years that they've been making games. Whew. Okay. Here we go. First of all, Secrets Can Kill. The first game they made was fine. The graphics were a little, you know what? Let's call them rustic. They were rustic. They're like cartoons that moved, which was kind of okay. That was a fine aesthetic. The plot was kind of dark, too, for a Nancy Drew game. Because I feel like when you think Nancy Drew games, you think wholesome, family-friendly, and not student brutally murdered and left in the school and like drugs and stuff like that. So like the plot's interesting. It was just, the format was kind of clunky. It was the first game, you know. And there were 2 discs, so like going into the boiler room and everything was kind of a pain. They remastered Secrets Can Kill, and it was released in 2010. It was fine. I didn't think it was that remarkable a game to redo. I know that it was their first one. They upgraded the graphics and everything. They might have changed who the murderer is or something like that. Not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've played it. It was not that enjoyable to me to replay, but I did. I do what I must, you know. I mean, I get that it was their first game that they remastered. But then that also kind of set a precedence for, like, when are you going to remaster the rest of the old ones? And I think that's a lot of work that they're not willing to do, especially if they're trying to find a new audience. Oh, yeah, that's another episode I want to talk about. The spilling the tea on Her Interactive, maybe? No. Because then they'll unfollow me on Twitter. It doesn't actually matter. Let's see, what else? Another really crappy game was Ransom of the Seven Ships. You know who we didn't need in that game? Dwayne Johnson. Why? Who is she? Why did she come back in this game? There's so many other characters or better villains that you could have put in. But no. Wait. No. Dwayne Powers. I wish Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was in this game. It would have made it so much better. The premise is you get stuck on this island when Nancy tries to go on vacation. And that's pretty much it. I don't really remember the rest of it. I remember monkeys throwing stuff at you. You have to get fruit from them. There's a parrot called Cuckoo who's a total ripoff of Lulu from Curse of Blackmore Manor. I mean, I know that, like, it's not really a ripoff if it's the same company and they're like, oh, it's her grandbird or something. It doesn't make... They were grasping at straws for the nostalgia thing, I think, in that game. And you know what I mean. Maybe you don't. I wouldn't recommend that game. It was not that exciting. Another game that was not that great, I had really high hopes for this one and did not enjoy it as much as I thought I would, was the Shattered Medallion, the one where they're on the game show and it takes place in New Zealand. Cool premise in and of itself. That's fine. This was the first time we actually met Sunny June, who first made an appearance, I think, in a game as early as, I want to say 2002, Secret of the Scarlet Hand. I think that was his first appearance. Sunny June, for people who might not know or don't really remember or haven't played all of the Nancy Drew games, was this guy who used to doodle on everything, and it was a running joke that he had gotten there before Nancy and anything. He was the intern that never did his job right and was waiting for the aliens to take him to space. Like, honestly, same. And he appears in a couple of other games too, like Danger by Design in 2006. I'm not sure about the other games, but he finally is revealed in the Shattered Medallion, which came out in 2014. And his character was so flat and so awful. More of Her Interactive kind of grasping at straws and hoping that nostalgia will, like, be good and help them, but I don't think it worked. He deserves better. Justice for Sunny 2K17, am I right? I don't actually care that much, but I was kind of disappointed with that. But the worst Nancy Drew game of all time. I feel like if you've played any of them, you totally know which one I'm about to say. And that is The Creature of Kapu Cave. It's so bad. It's so bad. They tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it did not even matter. This game came out in 2006. It's set in Hawaii. That's pretty cool. The Hardy Boys are there. That's also kind of okay. The plot is, like, she goes to Hawaii to be a research assistant to some entomologist, Dr. Kim. The local pineapple... This is coming from Wikipedia. A devastating scourge is destroying the local pineapple crop. Oh no. Residents are whispering that a secretive research compound has awoken the legendary Kane Okala, a man who was killed in a volcano centuries ago and now prowls the Big Island, wreaking havoc. Upon arriving, Nancy discovers Dr. Kim's camp has been ravaged and Dr. Kim is missing. Like Mr. Kim in Gilmore Girls. Coincidentally, the Hardy Boys are also on the island to complete a top-secret mission. Convenient. So the 3 amateur detectives must team up to solve the mystery. I mean, it's cool because you can play as Frank and... Oh, fuck. Frank and Joe. I was going to say Frank and George, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't seem right. You can play as both of those guys. That's pretty okay. I feel like Her Interactive could have done really well with this if they made some more memorable characters besides Big Island Mike, because he was fine. And I don't remember anything about the corporate pineapple ruiner. Oh, that's good. Corporate pineapple ruiner. That's totally not memorable at all. The only thing that I remember from it is Big Island Mike, and that's because the Tumblr community had a field day and made him into a meme, which I can appreciate because it was an okay meme and is the only good thing that came out of this game. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, so that's kind of the worst Nancy Drew games I can think of. If you have any suggestions for games that you want to have us play and talk about, let me know. If there are any games or if there's anything else you want us to talk about, hit us up. Let me know. If you have any drinks we should drink while we're drinking to play and talking to play, also let us know, because like that could be fun too. More episodes to come in the new year. Thank you for listening. If you like what you hear, subscribe to my channel. Just kidding. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to us on iTunes. I think we have 2 subscribers and one of them's me, which is great because someone else is listening. Hello, whoever you are. Sorry for not uploading since October. I had a little bit of a snafu with people who wanted to drink to play with me. So that's it from me. Signing off. Have a wonderful holiday season. Oh, fuck. I just spilled the tea. Oh, not actually. A little bit on the games, but not that much. I meant on my table ruining some papers, but such is life. Hope you have a good day or night whenever you're listening to this, and tune in next time. I never know how to end these, especially when I'm by myself, so I'm just gonna stop right now.